our football team for our fans, so it'll be a good deal. A lot of fun, a lot of energy, without question. It's a great game day atmosphere. Hopefully the weather will be nice and be a great day for college football Saturday afternoon. The game the other night, kind of what we expected going in. Knew it was going to be a really good environment. It was. Thought SMU would really play hard. They did. Thought our guys would play extremely hard. They did. And felt like it's just a hard-fought victory. I mean, it's hard to jump out there and win on the road, open up the season, and we were fortunate to do it. So I was really proud of our guys for their resiliency and just, keeping our composure because the momentum kind of flipped there in the second quarter. You could actually feel it, and I thought we fought through it. Goal line stand, right before half was a huge turning point in the game, I felt like. And then defense came out and played. It had a couple stops early in the third that allowed the offense to get going. And then, once we separated a little bit, we felt like, that we would be, in pretty good shape if we could get 14-21 ahead with the ball, and fortunate enough to do that. So good opening game win. It's all about winning. It's all it really comes down to at the end of the day. And we got one. Got Lamar this week. A team that's actually at this time 5 years ago I'd have thought they'd have been D1, kind of when UTSA and Texas State were, making a move to be D1. I think they were in the same situation. Ian, is that right? They tried to get there a few years ago, and I think it just kind of faltered off. I'm not sure why, but went 8-4 last year. Good football team. I think you can look across the country and see. Everybody's got good players. Anything can happen. So our job, our motto, our motivation this week is to be better. We've got to get better. We got to play better. We got to play smarter. We got to be more intense. We got to be more assignment to detail, and we just got to get in our sync a little bit better. So that'd be SYNC, not SINK. So we got to get in that and just get ready to, be a good football team. And it's hard to judge off one game, but we had some positives and, of course, some negatives to go with it. Questions? Bless you.
Coach Tim O'Donnell, Channel 25 Sports. Yep. Defensively, those 28 points in the first half, did a lot of that have to do with Oakman? 21, sorry. Yep. Did a lot of that have to do with Oakman and Orion being out, or was it just not knowing what to expect from this?
No, I don't think it had anything to do with it at all, honestly. I think just, you're playing a good team. I mean, we get to delay a game on the kickoff after going down and scoring and back it up 5. They start on the plus side of the 50 and hit a bomb first play. I mean, the one thing that could not happen happened. And that's your biggest concern going into a game is letting the other team have belief, and have hope. And last year was just the opposite here. I mean, we hold them, return a punt down the 4, score, get a turnover, score. So we're up 14-17-0 before you know what's going on. And it takes a little bit of fight at them. I mean, they're at home. They have a reason to fight. They fought. So I think that's a big factor. And then, we knew Davis was going to make plays. We knew the guy was good. I mean, he was. There's a reason that when he came out of high school, he was considered the #1 quarterback in the state at the time. So, he's a good player, and he poses some problems for you defensively. But I think we just settle down and play. A lot of times when you start a game, start a season, it's a filling out process, and I think we can see that both sides of the ball, their defense versus us, and vice versa.
Nick Canizales, KCN. Coach,
yes,
a lot of great wide receivers. Of course, a tremendous game. One football, how do you keep these guys happy in the day of age where, egos and wide receivers, they want to get the football, but, you guys spread it around a lot?
Yeah, I mean, I think the day of age has been about the last 50 years at that position. But, our deal is always about being a great teammate. That's the hardest thing that you have to try to influence on these guys when they come out of high school, because they've been the team. When you're the team, you don't have to worry about being a teammate. Most of them have been the team for their high school. And so my job and our job is to teach these guys how to be great teammates. I mean, it's hard to be a great teammate. I mean, it really is, to see the big picture and to always think for the benefit of the team and not yourself. And it doesn't always work that way. It's always a constant challenge to make everybody feel like they have a chance to contribute, not only with the ball in their hands, but without the ball in their hands. So, that's why they call us coach, and you do the best you can do, and you try to get everybody the opportunities they deserve, that they've worked for and that they've earned, and then you go. I mean, it's kind of like the quarterback position. I mean, the guy that started on night said 3 years. You know, he just didn't show up and play. I mean, he's been here 4 years. He's set for 3 years. So, I mean, there's a timetable that most people have to go through if you want to have a chance to contribute at a high level.
John Warner, Waco Trip. Art, how big a lift will it be having Oakman and Stewart back? And can you also update us on J.W. Ketchum, what his status is?
I mean, there's no Ketchum on status. He's a freshman. Oakman and Stewart, you know, I mean, the thing that they bring to the table is just energy and excitement. I mean, they're great locker room guys. They have a lot of energy. They got a lot of experience, and they're really good football players. So, but, you know, I mean, they bring a lot of energy and a lot of excitement to our football team. And, you know, so that'll be the biggest key, you know, for them and for us.
Sean Giggy, News 10 Sports. I believe in the last 5 years or something, Lamar's been outscored by an average of, I think, 50-5 against FBS opponents whenever they play them. With no disrespect to them,
exactly.
How do you guys get up for a game like this, maybe the same way you would for TCU or a team like that? Or
SMU. You know, I mean, the great thing about competitive sports and having people in the locker room is that they're competitors. I mean, is Usain Bolt, he's not going to go out there and run a 10.27 because the competition is not strong. You know, he's going to run a 9.83 or a 9.91, you know, or a 9.19. I mean, he's going to run his best. So, I mean, competitors, they play. You know, they play, they perform. I mean, that's their job. That's their occupation, is to get out there and do their best every time they step on the field. So our motivation is to win. I mean, you know, we could run back through a lot of scenarios to where, you know, that's a true statement to 50-5, but there's also those 2 or 3 in there that offset it across the country. So our job is to go win and compete and get better, and that's what we'll do.
Coach John Morris, Baylor Radio. Are you one who subscribes to the theory that teams make their most improvement between game 1 and game 2? Have you seen that through the years, and what do you think that is?
I think so. You know, I think it holds true for everybody, so it's really not an advantage for us over Lamar because they're game 2 also. But, you know, you really don't have anything to coach off of or talk about in a game sequence. You know, I mean, it's just different practice, it's different scrimmages, and you get in a game with situations and have a chance to coach, you know, and that's the best part about it. So I think that's what everybody does across the nation. Very, very few people practice and tackle at a live amount, you know, now as opposed to maybe 10, 15 years ago. So there's always some of that going on the first game or 2 of the season with missed tackles, but as the season progresses, it equals out. But, yeah, I mean, we would expect to be, you know, quite a bit cleaner in some areas this week than last week.
Bryce Cherry, Waco
Give
Trib.
him some water. Yeah. Yes, sir.
13 penalties against SMU. Are there practical things you guys do in practice to address the penalties, or is it just a matter of game day, you know, being a little more focused or something?
You know, I addressed them in practice. You know, once again, it's hard to simulate game type situations with tempo and, you know, when the ref's going to set the ball, when they're not, and, you know, crowd noise and claps and, you know, things that go on during a game that you don't concern yourself with in practice. I'm talking about illegal formations and false starts. You know, the other penalties, you know, holding, you know, I guess face masks, you know, that kind of stuff is just, once again, I mean, you know, you're not really, I mean, you're talking about it in practice, but you're not, you know, getting penalized for it. You know, so it's just part of playing. You know, it's just part of playing, and you got to hope that you're able to overcome if you know, if you get those. And fortunately, we have been. Does somebody have some water, gentlemen, please? Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Art, can you talk about Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider? Art, can you talk about the development of Jamal Palmer? And he's a guy that had to play as a freshman, you know, burned his year that year, and is just, of course, obviously got injured last year. But can you talk about his development and what you've seen from him?
I mean, I love Jamal. You know, he's a fearless student athlete, great person, great teammate, and he's an energized guy. You know, he's an inspirer. You know, and that's what I like about him. He's a very selfless person that gives his all every time. I thought he did a good job the other night. It's hard to come back inside of a year on ACL. It hadn't been a year since he's been injured, so I thought, him having to go out and play that many plays that early, I thought he really did a good job. So he's a guy that that's going to be very beneficial for us down the stretch because he's a really good player.
Yeah, Eddie Sefko, Dallas News. I'm wondering what kind of luxury it is for you to have a stable of running backs that all bring a little something different, and plus having a mobile quarterback along with those guys.
No, I mean it is. I mean luxury, need might be a better word, especially at that position, because it's hard for those guys to go a season. Hopefully we'll make it, but we think we got 3 guys that can really do a lot for us. Terrence is still a little bit of an unknown, but those other 3 guys we really, really feel good about what they bring to the table. Our main objective right now is to keep them healthy. So we'll try to limit carries, throughout games when we can with them, because we know down the stretch run that we're going to have those guys healthy and able to really, bang it up in there and make some quality yards for us, in critical situations down the stretch. But those guys are all good. And then having Seth to be able to bring what he can bring to the table, it gives us a dimension that, we hope will be beneficial as we move deeper into the season.
Coach, I know after the game you were surprised by Seth's 50% completion.
Yeah, I really was. I missed that, yeah. I'll take the production, though.
How would you rate his performance and Jarrett's as well, and what are you looking for both of them this week?
Yeah, I mean, I really thought Seth was right on cue. Exactly what we thought we'd get from him. He'd been really sharp the last week in practice. I mean, really sharp where we were. And that's why I'm surprised about the percentage, because we percent everything every day in practice, every throw. And he'd been in about the 77 to 82%, all the way through the last week. But really sharp. And the thing that I was proud of is that he was really sharp mentally. I mean, everything he told us on the sideline during the game was right on with what we saw on tape. And that's always a great sign. So he's really a really sharp guy that understands the game. He's got a little bit of fearless nature to him that that we like, but we'll have to make sure it's doesn't step outside the box. But he's I thought he did a great job. I thought he did a great job in a completely different scenario than probably any Baylor quarterbacks ever had in the history of this university. So that was really good. Stidham is a guy that has he's a tremendous upside guy. I mean, he's a guy that's going to be really, really good, and he's really, really sharp also. So we're in good shape for a while.
Steve Cook, Sikkim Sports. Coach,
yeah.
Second half, what did you do defensively with the secondary to go from giving up a lot of yards to shut out?
I think it's just the fact of, if you see somebody run left a bunch and then all of a sudden you start moving to your right, and vice versa. Once you kind of see what's going on, then you kind of figure out what's going on. And I thought Coach Bennett and them made great adjustments, but more or less it's just a situation of guys settling down and getting in the flow of the game and understanding what the opposition is trying to do from an offensive standpoint. That's basically it, because when you're shooting early, you're not really sure what you're getting shot at with. And so you kind of have to settle down and make adjustments, and I thought our players really did that. But no, we're good, Nick. Okay. Be a fun week. Need a great crowd, which I thought we had a great crowd the other night over at Dallas. Fans are unbelievable, and this should be a fun week this weekend. We'll take care of business on the field. Thank y'all very much.